Have you ever read a Bible verse that sounded impossible? A verse so powerful that it almost seems too good to be true. Many people have read it hundreds of times, but they still miss what God is actually saying. Today we're going to uncover one of the most comforting promises in the entire Bible. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why millions of Christians hold on to this verse during the darkest moments of their lives. The verse is Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. At first glance, this sounds simple. God works everything for good. But then real life happens. People lose loved ones. Dreams fall apart. Prayers seem unanswered. Doors close. Hearts break. And many quietly wonder, if God is working everything for good, why does my life hurt so much? That's the question this verse answers. Notice something important. The verse does not say that everything is good. It says God works through everything for good. Those are completely different. The Bible never tells us that pain is good. It never says betrayal is good. It never says sickness, loss, disappointment, or suffering are good. Instead, it reveals something even greater. God is able to take the broken pieces of our lives and build something beautiful that we could never have imagined. Think about Joseph in the Old Testament. His own brothers betrayed him. They sold him into slavery. He was falsely accused, thrown into prison, forgotten. If Joseph had stopped the story there, his life would have looked like one tragedy after another. But God wasn't finished writing his story. Years later, Joseph became second in command over Egypt. The very suffering that seemed meaningless became the path God used to save countless lives, including the family who had betrayed him. What people meant for evil, God transformed into good. That's Romans 8:28 in action. Now think about your own life. Maybe you're in a season where nothing makes sense. Maybe you've been praying for something that still hasn't happened. Maybe you've asked God why he seems silent. This verse reminds us that God's silence is not his absence. Just because you cannot see him working doesn't mean he has stopped working. A master artist often stands so close to the canvas that you can't recognize the picture until it's complete. God sees the finished masterpiece while we only see today's brushstroke. That's why faith is so important. Faith trusts the author before the final chapter has been written. Even the cross looked like defeat. Jesus was rejected, beaten, mocked, crucified. To everyone watching that day, it looked like hope had died. But what appeared to be history's greatest tragedy became history's greatest victory. Through the resurrection, God turned suffering into salvation for the world. If he could bring life from a cross and an empty tomb, he can certainly bring hope from whatever you're facing today. Romans 8:28 doesn't promise an easy life. It promises a faithful God, a God who never wastes pain, a God who can redeem what seems beyond repair, a God who finishes what he starts. So if you're waiting for an answer, don't quit. If you're carrying a heavy burden, don't lose hope. If today feels confusing, remember that you're living one page of a much bigger story. God sees every chapter, and he already knows how the story ends. Maybe today isn't the moment everything changes. Maybe today is simply the day you choose to trust him again. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the moments you thought were breaking you were actually the moments God was building you. Romans 8:28 is not just a comforting verse. It's an invitation to trust God's wisdom when life doesn't make sense. So today, hold on to his promise. Keep praying, keep believing, keep walking by faith. Because the same God who worked in Joseph's life, who raised Jesus from the grave, and who has remained faithful throughout history, is still working today. Even when you cannot see it, even when you cannot feel it, God is working for your good according to his perfect purpose. If this message encouraged you, remember this simple truth for the rest of your day. God is still writing your story, and he has never abandoned a story that he has begun.